welcome to another interview presented by Wrestling Forums. I'm here with six-time state placer and state champ Bryce Wanagat. How you doing today, Bryce?
Not too bad. Glad to be on here.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. And the first question I always ask all my guests, what got you into wrestling?
What got me into wrestling was I had tried a bunch of different sports, everything from like soccer to lacrosse, and it just nothing just clicked. And my dad mentioned he wrestled in high school, and I was like, you know what, we'll try it, and it just stuck.
And how old were you when you started wrestling?
Jeez, I don't even know. 6 maybe.
I'd say you were pretty small. I've seen all the baby photos of you in your singlets that your dad posts on Facebook. It's the perk of being a Facebook friend with any of your parents, because they all want to be Facebook friends with me. I'm going to get to see pictures, not only Bryce, but just about everyone who watches my videos. No, but in all seriousness, so, I know you've been a part of Warrior Wrestling Club for God knows how long. And so kind of take us through your youth phase and what the benefit of wrestling youth was.
My youth phase was definitely a lot of air. I was mainly there to have fun, as a 6-year-old would. I wasn't really too worried about winning. I think I maybe won 1 or 2 matches in like my first 4 or 5 years. And I was just happy to be there and have fun in the wrestling room. But one year it just finally clicked, and I think I won youth state like twice or something. But the advantage of being in the youth room is like, even though I did do a lot of playing around when I was younger, it certainly helped prepare me for going up into the middle school class, into the high school class, just from being in there, learning the muscle memory, and just learning the grind set.
And then, of course, I would probably ask you about your, what was middle school like, but you wrestled varsity for all 6 years, state placer, all 6 of them. Like that doesn't really happen.
Nah, not too often, huh?
So, I got to ask, what was the special formula to being able to place as a 7th grader?
Dang, luck, I'll be honest. I believe it was that year, but I think like I got 2 buys, but I lost the rest of my matches except for my last match in sectionals, and that made me through state. And then I guess I just flipped on the switch for state and made it to 5th place.
And of course, what was even more surprising is you come in as a returning state placer the following year, and I believe you placed 7th in the section your 8th grade year, and you still came out and placed 5th, right? Was it 5th or 4th?
It was 5th.
It was 5th, your 8th grade year?
No, it was 4th. It
was 4th. That's what I thought. But I just remember watching the bracket, because I think your 7th grade year would have been my freshman year at state, and I'm like, this kid's going on an absolute tear. But
all the way from Concies.
You battled your way back and earned every ounce of that. And then, of course, you have some pretty solid battles. Yeah, I remember you were in a weight class with one year it was Landon Burridge and Will Miller. Yeah. And then you got into that giant kerfuffle that involved Kyler Adams
and Gabe Warren,
Bobby Charsha. And those are just some of the bigger names. Like, there were still stud after stud. You were in like the hardest weight most years, and you were still placing top 4. But, I'm going to take a step back. What was the benefit of wrestling all those really tough guys? Because what I just named, I think that there were at least, let me see, I think there from those 6 guys I just named, I'm pretty sure there's close to 20 state finals appearances.
Yeah. No. That's hard to say. Like, it's just the competition feel. Because if you're not wrestling the hard opponents, you're not used to that hard match. You're not used to that the whole 6 minutes going to that last second. And, just wrestling those hard matches just made it easier to get to that last period, to get that last point, to get that last stand up this year.
Yeah. And I know that you know, a lot of people only talk about when they see the victories, But, I think some of the biggest things that might have driven you were some of your bigger losses that, I know you fell to Gabe Warren. You caught, for some reason, an unseeded Jacob Deese in the second round of state, which I'm not going to get into that. That right there, I watched that match because I was there for day one, and that was a scrap right there between you two. That honestly should have been the state finals.
Definitely.
But you battled so much, and it didn't get any easier for you your senior year.
Mm-mm.
And I know that you and Brady Campbell from Opelika, he moved in from Georgia, and you and him had some very tough clashes.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely a I don't know. It wouldn't be dark horse is not the word, but he blindsided me that first match we had. Because I mean, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, it's just another Opelika kid. I was ready. I was looking the match ahead of him to a Springville kid. What's his name? Gillum. Yep. And I was like, okay, this will be fine. We'll get through the match. And he just hit me. He just blindsided me, man. But he was a really good match. He's a really good kid, just solid wrestler all around. And it really was such a fun experience wrestling with him.
And the thing I have to ask you is, so as it's the week of state, I'm flipping through Instagram stories, and Pelham was only showing the kids who got first and was kind of talking to them after every match and asking, hey, well, how did it feel to win sectionals? And I want to say you were the only kid who talked who didn't win sectionals, and you said, I'm going to change the story.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, I mean, like, I guess my story's been like, it's always, I've always come close, but it's like, I've never just reached that final step. Like, it's been 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, every year. And I mean, it's just, I didn't want it to happen this year, and I wanted to change what has been. So,
and of course, you did it in such a great fashion, finally winning that state title. And I know that even that match, that just translates so much about you, and not only you, but also the future of Alabama wrestling. I know that, Brady Campbell, he's only a freshman coming in from Georgia, but, it shows a lot from your character on how you did in those tough matches. Because honestly, if you're losing to a kid 3 times in a season, or I think you lost him twice, right?
Yeah, twice.
Twice, yeah. And so when you lose to a guy twice, it's kind of hard to keep wanting to go and keep getting after it. And you showed up, you showed out, and you won that state title match.
Yeah.
So, of course, as we look to the future, you have committed to Reinhardt University, the AAC returning champs for I don't know how many years now.
Yeah.
Coach Bedard and the rest of the Eagles. Is it the Golden Eagles, or is it just the Eagles?
I think it's just the Eagles.
Just the Eagles. That's a hot room. I went in there our guys were working out for conference. And of course I tore my labrum, so I wasn't being able to wrestle. I had just had surgery, and I was in that room, and man, was it hot. Like I've been in some really hot rooms, but man, like I walked in there and my glasses just, couldn't see anything. That's going to be a tough room. What really drew you to Reinhardt and Coach Bedard?
What really drew me to the program was, I guess their history, because just their coaching history with Matt Mully, Bedard, and Saxton on there now. That's just, it's so much wrestling history in that room. And being in that room when I visited, I was able to wrestle in there. We did some live matches, and the heat feeling, it really did remind me of Warrior. It reminded me of a brotherhood. It reminded me, of just the intensity that I wanted. And another thing is that campus is just beautiful. I love it. And I don't think I would have chosen anywhere else.
Yeah, no, it's one of the nicest campuses. It's got such a, although that there are competitors Those are some of the
Yeah.
greatest guys. Of course, I knew Michael Land, who was on that team for the last 2 years, and numerous Alabama guys have gone through that program. Even if not coming out 4 years, they're coming out way better wrestlers.
Definitely.
And that's a group of people who know how to win a national championship. And I believe they're well on their way.
Definitely.
And of course, you know, they're in AAC, the Appalachian Athletic Conference. They're in the NAIA, small school wrestling. And I know a lot of kids are very much D1 or bust.
Yeah.
How do you get past a culture that is very much, especially in Alabama, not necessarily with wrestling, but I know that football or basketball, a lot of kids, if they don't go Division I, they don't want to compete.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it didn't really matter for me. Like, if I went D1, so be it. But if I go NAIA and whatever, I mean, you're still a collegiate athlete one way or the other. I mean, not many kids are even getting into college, or a lot of them getting into college, but like collegiately for wrestling, you know, high school is just their stop. And I mean, I got a good scholarship from them, and I think everything combined with them is just perfect for me. And I mean, D1, I don't think it'd be any different, but.
Well, Bryce, that's all the questions I really had for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's a little sad. I'm such a pleasure to have on the air, but Bryce, before I let you go, is there anything you want to say to my viewers?
I don't know, man. For my teammates, like, it's just been a ride, and I don't know. It's just been a fun trip coming up. So.
Of course, I think I speak for everyone when I say that you've been a gigantic part of this new revolution with all these young wrestlers, especially going to universities to wrestle, come back and build Alabama up.
Definitely.
So, of course, Bryce, once again, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay cool, Alabama Wrestling.